Welcome everyone. Good morning welcome to Social Media Legwork, another webinar from your Simcoe South Georgian Bay Digital Service Squad. I'm Ben Frisch, Service Squad lead, and we've got today with us Rochelle Reynolds. Hello.
Hello.
One of our social media experts, taking us through the presentation, and we are joined by Maggie Mullen, pet lover extraordinaire and coder, web expert, to add some additional insights and input on our presentation today. Just as a bit of housekeeping, the Digital Main Street program is brought to you by FedDev Ontario, the Ontario government, the Ontario BIA Association, along with the Toronto Association of BIAs. Such a mouthful. But here in Simcoe, South Georgian Bay specifically, the program is managed by the South Georgian Bay Small Business Enterprise Center, with additional funding and support from the County of Simcoe, the Town of Collingwood, and the Town of Blue Mountains. So we're incredibly grateful for all of their support. And that's what it has brought us here to you today with these presentations. And we have a lot on the go, a full calendar of events that stretch out to the end of February. So check them out at the enterprisecenter.ca website if you want to register for some more webinars and content. And I will just say before passing it off to Rochelle that the social media legwork was a social media webinar that we broke into two pieces. The first being content creation, or building buzzworthy content. And that was last week's webinar. You can find it along with all of our previous webinars on the Small Business Enterprise Center YouTube channel. So feel free to look that up and check out some of our past webinars. Also, one last thing, we have a link to this presentation is in the chat box there. So there are some links out to different tools and software that you'll find in that PDF document in the chat. And as always, if you have any questions at any time, feel free to drop them in the Q&A, and we will answer them as we go. So here's Rochelle to take us through a bit of an intro and her presentation.
Thank you so much, Ben. Yes, welcome everybody. I'm very excited to be here with you all again for part 2 of this social media adventure that we are embarking upon. So just to reiterate what Ben said, we are from Digital Main Street. Digital Main Street is an Ontario-wide support program dedicated to helping small businesses improve their online presence. So please connect with us. We have 4 members of our squad who are eagerly awaiting to meet you and learn about your business and how we can help you grow and help you expand upon your digital marketing knowledge and capabilities. So that's very, very exciting. Alrighty, and we can get into it. Social media legwork. Last week we talked about, as Ben said, creating great content and kind of the building blocks behind that. Today is all about how to properly organize and disseminate that great content. It is not in anyone's best interest to just kind of wing it in terms of their social media, as I was kind of talking about earlier in this presentation. So of course, yes, you can do your own thing. The rules are, there are no rules. However, if you are running your social media exclusively for your business or your brand, it really is in your best interest to get yourself organized and to commit yourself to laying the foundation down so that your platform is solid and becomes a dependable resource for your followers and your customers. Success in thank you. Success in social media marketing hinges on these 3 things, in my humble opinion: consistency, creativity, and communication. You can have, basically, it's not 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 3 out of 3 is what you need to achieve. What I have chosen to illustrate that point is Burberry here. So the reason why Burberry's logo is featured on here is because they have done a wonderful job at leveraging their social media in these three ways. They have leveraged it consistently, creatively, and they have kept open lines of communication. How have they done that? Well, Burberry a few years ago spent very little in terms of their marketing and stuff. And yet they saw record sales of one particular item, which is the signature Burberry trench coat. How does this happen? Well, Burberry created this trench coat. You may actually know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the lovely beige one with the kind of like argyle detailing on the inside and really nice epaulets and stuff. Wonderful, standard trench coat. Everybody's got to have it. Burberry knew that everybody has to have it. And rather than spending a dime on their marketing of this particular product, what they asked for through their social media channels is for their customers who had purchased the trench coat to take photos of themselves in said trench coat and tag Burberry in it to let them know that, hey, they've got this trench coat and they love it. And if you buy it, then you're going to love it too. Within days, their social media profiles were absolutely flooded with all of this user-generated content from people all around the world touting the merits of this Burberry trench coat. And to this day, it is one of the best examples of great social media marketing because it does everything that social media is supposed to do. It gives more than it gets. So Burberry empowered all of their customers to become their models, to become their ambassadors and their reps. It created that social currency because the more people saw these photos of these people in these trench coats, the more they went, well, I want to take a look at that. Like, that looks really nice. And you know, I live in this part of the world and I didn't know that we could get this Burberry trench coat in this particular city or whatnot. And the other thing was it was incredibly creative all the same, right? It really encompassed all of these things that we need. And Burberry really didn't have to do anything beyond putting that call to action out. So just a great example of how social media marketing can really work and how it doesn't have to cost you a fortune. Now I'm done. All righty, so consistency. The thing about consistency on social media is it works on a couple different levels. One, you're going to become a trusted source, as I sort of hinted at really early on in this presentation. The more that people get used to, oh, okay, we're going to hear from this brand 3 times a week, and on Mondays it's going to be that they, you know, promote whatever their store specials are. On Wednesday they're going to share, I don't know, a goofy story about something silly that happened in their store. And then on Friday, they're going to let us know about new products that people can get excited about or look forward to. The thing about that is people begin to rely on that. So they recognize that, oh, okay, this is what we can expect from them. And they start to really look forward to that information. And the other thing is social media runs on algorithms. So by being consistent, you're helping those algorithms out. You are telling the social media platforms, hey, I'm reliable, I'm dependable, we have this much clout, we have this many people interested in tuning into our content. We have demonstrated that we are worth being boosted in your algorithms here. So the more you post, the more consistently you post, yeah, let me start again. Not the more you post, more is not always better. The more consistently you post and the more consistently you are reaching your audience, the more that those social media platforms are going to work in your favor to help expose your content to more and more people who will then become your new followers and everything. The algorithms do change constantly, and unfortunately, they affect small businesses drastically. Basically, it's a pay-to-play scheme, right? They're going to prioritize big brands who are advertising thousands upon thousands of dollars with them over small brands that are creating all organic content. So by being consistent, again, you're doing yourself a favor that way. And then consistently posting quality content is key. So this goes back to what I talked about last week. Just simply posting for the sake of it is not the best way to go. That's why we advise that you create a calendar, that you create a strategy for yourself on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis, because that quality content is going to win out over just kind of flippant content all over the place that's not really telling a great story for your brand. The photo that I have featured is just a chocolate souffle, because as we all know, consistency is key when it comes to great desserts. So quality content plus consistent activity equals greater account reach. Here are some popular issues that I encounter when I'm talking to clients about their social media. Problem number one is I don't have time. I get it. Nobody does. Nobody feels like they have time for social media because it takes a lot longer than you necessarily realize. You think that it's going to be, a quick 30-second job to take a quick photo and throw it up on your socials. But you realize once you get into it, oh, there's a little bit more to that. I have to create a nice story around it. I have to have a compelling caption. I have to edit this photo so that it looks as good as it can be. I need to use hashtags if those are the relevant platforms that I'm working with and everything. There is a little bit more to it. So this is why we recommend creating a simple content calendar. You don't have to spend a lot of money with it. Google Sheets are great. Excel is great. Anything to get those ideas down on paper so that when it comes time to do your posting, like if you have set up that 3 times a week model that I created in the previous slide and everything, then at least you have given yourself that heads up so you can carve out that time that is needed to plan out what you're going to talk about and have all of those pieces already in place. An in-house solution that I'd recommend, if you really, if you're just like, you know what, this is not my thing and I don't have time and I don't want to make the time for it, alrighty, you can definitely do that. I would recommend empowering a staff member, right? You might not be into social media, but somebody who is a full or even part-time employee, they might love it. They might love being on socials and might genuinely feel really flattered if you ask them to take that over and become their social media champion. Now, what I'd recommend for that is make sure that you have clear guidelines in place. It's always good to get things like that in writing, especially because you certainly wouldn't want someone taking over your socials and then misrepresenting your brand in some way. So just be very clear with this person about what you want featured and what you don't want featured. But that's a great way to involve your staff in a new capacity and kind of delegate those tasks to someone who maybe has a bit more time and energy for it. And then the third party solution is invest in a tool. And we're going to talk about more tools very shortly, but there are so many of them. It's become a very competitive market in terms of helping people organize their social media. So check it out. There's Later, there's Hootsuite, Sked Social, my personal favorite, Buffer, and Canva, which is very exciting. We're going to be talking a lot about Canva later on in this presentation and also next week in our Canva webinar. But Canva has released a content calendar version and sort of scheduling tools right in that application. So that's a good way to go as well. Another problem, I can't get into it. Man, I feel you. Yeah, sometimes I can't get into it either. I'm like, the last thing that I want to do right now is make a social media post. I had the worst day of my life and I don't really care to tell the world about it. You know what I mean? So I feel for you there. The free solution there is you need to find the fun. I talked about this a lot last week. You really aren't going to succeed as a content creator if you aren't a content consumer. So if you're on a platform that you're really not jazzed about and you derive no pleasure from being on this platform to begin with, then maybe it's not the platform for you. There are tons of other ones. Take a step back, download a few different social media apps and figure out which one you actually like to use. Which one do you have fun on? That is where you're going to find the most success as a content creator, not by just sort of claiming a bunch of profiles across all these platforms and then not caring about any of them. An in-house solution Ask your staff and customers to help. Let's go back to Burberry, right? User generated content is your friend. You by putting out a call to action like, hey, all you staff members, I really want to do, points of view posts about your experience working with our company and whatnot. Well, again, make sure there are guidelines in place so you're not getting roasted by your staff. That wouldn't go very well. But that's definitely a great way to go. And then same thing, you don't have to be quite so invested in being a master and commander of every piece of content that's going up on your pages. You can entrust your valued customers and your loyal staff with some of that responsibility. A third party solution is to hire a social media manager. Really, believe it or not, there are people in the world who do like social media and they do want to help you. They would love the opportunity to come on board and help you tell your story. And the nice thing about hiring a social media manager is they're not going to be bogged down with any other responsibilities, right? They're not worried about payroll or inventory or the back end of your business in any way. They're hired simply to take care of your social media, and that's all that they're going to do. So that's a great solution as well. Obviously, that requires a little bit of investment. Well, quite a bit of investment on the business owner's behalf. So I would definitely recommend these organic strategies first. But if you're at that stage and you have the budget and you're ready to do it, then absolutely outsource that. Okay. Popular tools for social media management. This list goes on and on. It was impossible to narrow down these examples, but here are the ones that I've chosen based on their popularity and their user experience. These are kind of the easiest ones to get involved with. So Later, great tool. There is a free version. However, because the social media tool market has become so competitive, the free versions of anything are really kind of giving you less and less every single day. But you can absolutely try and get as far as you can with the free version. Why not, right? That's a great way to go. Later is great because there's built-in editing capabilities. You can create captions and you can schedule your post all in one convenient place. All you have to do is upload those images into your little media bank, essentially, and then you can schedule them at will. Planoly, why I have this included is it is tailored specifically for Instagram, so you can do things like check out your feed and kind of move stuff around accordingly to give yourself the best kind of Instagram layout that you're looking for. If you are on other social media platforms, then perhaps Planoly isn't the way to go, but if you are only on Instagram and Facebook, then Planoly could be a way to go because you can link your Instagram and Facebook profiles manually, like within those apps. So when you post through Planoly, yes, you're only scheduling it to go to Instagram, but it will populate on Facebook automatically if you have those accounts there. So that's kind of a cheat that way. And then Hootsuite, probably the most popular one, I would say is probably the biggest out there. And that's because it was one of the first, and therefore it kind of has an edge on a lot of the other competitors out there. So the thing about Hootsuite, it features the convenient dashboard system to help keep multiple accounts easily organized. Hootsuite is a little bit more robust than some of the other examples that are out there. So if you do have multiple accounts, then that could be the way to go. All right, now we are moving on to creativity. And what I have featured here is one of the best marketing campaigns of all time, which is the Buckley's cough syrup campaign. I'm sure everybody knows that the secret to Buckley's is that it tastes awful and it works. What I love about that is that they are doing all of the things that I've highlighted here. They are showcasing their brand's unique qualities. Yes, they know that they taste awful. They know that people would rather shoot themselves in the foot than take their medicine. But they also know that by taking their medicine, they're going to feel better right away. They are celebrating their individuality. They're not trying to hide anything. You know, if you're taking Buckley's, you're not going to get some weird synthetic strawberry taste. You're going to get the taste of the inside of a tree, and that's the experience that you're going to have. And then you can change up your menu this way. So what I mean by that is once you have identified your unique qualities and everything, you don't necessarily have to be playing the same card every single time, right? You can change it up. This is not as accurately represented by Buckley's necessarily, like that they really have found their lane and stayed in it kind of thing. But as far as your brand goes, I'm sure there's something more unique to your business than it tasting awful and it working, right? So you can play up those different elements. So basically the magic formula is solid imagery plus strong storytelling equals loyal followers. Here are some creativity problems and solutions that I encounter a lot. Problem, I don't know what to post. Yeah, I know. It kind of goes back to what we've already talked about. The free solution there is spin it to win it. If you want, you can make pretty much anything happen. I'm going to give you two examples of that. One is kind of the worst case scenario, and the other is the best case scenario. Worst case scenario would be Firefest. I don't know if you guys are kind of aware of that whole fiasco, but essentially Firefest was touted as the best island party to ever happen on in the history of the world. So essentially the organizers of this festival paid a bunch of celebrities to simply post orange squares on all of their social media channels and simply tag Firefest in it. It became a viral sensation. All these people around the world were going like, oh my goodness, Firefest, this is going to be the best party ever. All these celebrities are going to be there. They've shared this orange square. It's going to be the greatest experience of my life. And all these people ate Firefest up. They bought all these tickets expecting this luxury vacation. And then they arrived on this island, and it was really just a nightmare. The organizers had nothing ready to go. There were no celebrities. It was not what it was advertised to be whatsoever. And the organizers were really trying to kind of keep people happy, like basically just kind of like stringing them along this whole time. And then the Firefest sandwich photo was released. So essentially, one of the people who was at Firefest was just done. They were so sick of all the lies, all the false promises and everything. And they uploaded a photo of their luxury lunch for the day, which was a crappy ham sandwich in a styrofoam takeout container. They uploaded that photo and Firefest blew up in a second. It was donezo. The whole thing was just an absolute catastrophe. So that is a great example of exactly what I'm talking about. You really can spin anything to do what you want. Those Firefest organizers, they painted a very, very clear picture of something that was not meant to be, and then that exposure that happened to them was legendary. The second example that I'm going to give is a personal one. So of course we can't all pay celebrities to post photos on their social media pages advertising our business. So this is actually a personal example. I was in this exact same position. I hadn't posted to my social channels in a long time, and I was like, man, I really got to do that, but I just don't know. Like, I'm an actor, writer, director, right? So at the time I was in my off season, I didn't have any shows on the go. I was like, I don't know what people are interested in. And later on that day, I was standing at the bottom of my stairs, and my cat was sitting on the banister looking up towards the second floor of my apartment at the time. And I thought it was a cute photo. I just thought that she looked pretty and kind of cute there. So I snapped a quick photo. And then I posted it a couple hours later, and I just overlaid one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite theater creators, Oscar Wilde, which is, "We're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars." So it was just that photo of my kitty cat looking up, and then that quote. To this day, that's one of the best performing posts that I have ever made on any of my social media channels. People loved it. Why did people love it? Because I took a completely sort of benign situation, and I spun it to represent my brand and my values. People know that, hey, I love animals. I'm a very sort of caring animal lover that way. They also know that there's nothing I love more than the arts and theater. And so for me to be able to find that magic formula in that split second was really successful for me. In-house solution. Ask for feedback. If you're really not sure what to post, man, throw it back over to your followers. Check out how your posts are performing, which one's got the most likes, which one's got the most comments. You'll be able to start discerning patterns from there. And then a third-party solution is hire a content creator. This could be a photographer, videographer, copywriter, or full-service marketing agency. If your issue is that you never have great photos, if you're really bad for that, or you don't know how to take great photos, hire a photographer, get a really nice bank of images that you can just pull from when you need to. If you have no video content and would like some, same thing goes with hiring a videographer. If your issue is, hey, I'm a great photographer and I can take some wicked videos, but I'm a terrible writer, I don't know how to tell my story, I don't know how to leverage this information, hire a copywriter. They can take care of that storytelling for you. Oh, here we are. I didn't know that the slide had changed. All right, problem number 2. I'm a terrible designer. Yeah, me too. I get raked over the coals all the time for the designs of my posts. Don't worry, I'm not bitter. I just get better. Anyway, so the free solution there is, can you say Canva? Canva really is a wonderful tool that's out there. The free version of it does have its limitations. So like anything else, it is a pay to play kind of scheme there. But I only use the free version of Canva, and I've created some great templates and I really learned how to make my posts just look better through this app. So I definitely recommend checking that out first. In-house solution, go back to your branding. If you're just like, you have no eye for color, or you really just, the posts that you create just objectively look terrible all the time, well, almost every brand has some kind of logo and has some kind of signature color scheme. You really can't go wrong with incorporating that in some way. Like if you can even just like put a border around your posts that are the colors of your brand, and then maybe like throw your logo into the corner there, hey, at least that's creating a consistent, more polished look for you, right? And then a third-party solution is find a designer. She, he, or they can build you a signature look to use across your platforms. I mean, obviously, that's what graphic designers are there to do. They're there to help you with your graphics and to help you with solving this problem. Alrighty, and here's some popular content creation tools. Neither of these are free, unfortunately, but if you have money to burn, and if you're looking for help figuring out some relevant content that maybe doesn't always have to be driven by your own brain power, then these are some great options. So Loomly provides topic suggestions and relevant social media days and hashtags and stuff, so you can take a look at kind of what's coming down the pipes and figure out, oh, okay, excuse me, tomorrow is I don't know, National Wear Your Socks on Your Hands Day or something like that. There seems to be a social media day for everything. Well, if you're a sock company, then maybe you can get on board with that trend. And then Meet Edgar, super interesting tool, definitely worth looking into. It is fully automated, so it is a content generator integrated with all of those platforms there, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And essentially what it does is you put things into the search engine like you would for Google, or honestly even like your public library. That's kind of how it works. You let Meet Edgar know what kind of content you're interested in posting about, and Meet Edgar just pulls all of this stuff that is relevant to that content, and then you basically just go, yep, I like this one, and I like this one, and I like this one, and then it kind of does the rest for you. It's very, very cool. Alrighty, and then the third C that we must address is communication. So communication works on a couple different levels here. Let me break it down for you first. So number one, the key to strong social media is being social. So ensuring that you are engaging with your audience. If people comment on your posts, it's really good to comment back. Creating posts with like leading questions to help people get engaged. Creating like share contests and things like that to help drive that engagement and help people feel special and feel like their voices matter to your brand. All of that is really great. And then the second kind of component of that is implementing social listening. So social listening is basically about spying on your followers and how they're interacting with your stuff. Checking out the analytics behind your posts, figuring out when people are interacting, what they're doing when they're on your channels, and trying to discern. I mean, you can never get like a concrete answer on this, but with the tools that are available to you, trying to discern the why behind their visiting your posts and everything. That's all really important. Why do I have this this poster featured here? This is a great example of someone using social listening for the greater good. So essentially, this is an artist in the US who basically went on Yelp and searched different historical landmarks or like national parks and everything like that. Like I'm talking about nature destinations, like things that are designed to be organic, unspoiled windows into the world in all its glory and everything. And she found bad Yelp reviews of these places and decided to glorify them, to kind of like shame these people who went to these incredible destinations and were disappointed because it wasn't high tech enough for them. It's a brilliant campaign. This artist has tons of these things that she's created. She has them for like Yellowstone National Park, the Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore, like all of these places that are designed to just help people connect to nature. This one in particular that I'm featuring is for Isle Royale National Park. And what someone had to say about that particular destination was that there was no cell service and terrible Wi-Fi. Yes, thank you. So anyway, that's just a great example of someone using social listening to inform their content very, very literally. Clear messaging plus regular engagement equals brand trust. That is the magic formula there. Alrighty, here are a couple of well, here's one problem really that I encounter a lot regarding communication, and that is I don't get any engagement when I post. Yeah, that is a thing, and especially if we go back to the algorithms changing and everything, unfortunately that's getting harder and harder all the time. Fewer and fewer people are going to see organic posts from small business owners and everything, so that is an uphill battle, but that's why the consistency and the creativity is so important. The free solution to that is try poking the bear. How can you reframe your posts to get your followers more involved? One thing that I see in this particular area of the world, and I'm sure it's the same in many others, but because South Georgian Bay is very densely populated with small businesses and a lot of people who are using social media and they don't quite have that formula right, I see posts all the time of things like, you know, if they're a skincare company, new body butter in, buy now. Nah, that's not an effective way to use your social media. It's great that you have a new product and it's great that you're very clear about your call to action there. Like, hey, we've got something new and we want you to buy it. Yeah, that's what most businesses are looking for in some way or another. But the thing is, social media requires a bit of a gentler touch that way. So rather than new body butter in, buy it, maybe try something like, have you heard of our new body butter, or new body butter in, which fragrance would you like to try? Something like that, where it spins the exact same message on its head a little bit and invites people in, versus just like attacking them with kind of like an infomercial style yeah, interrogation, I guess, maybe assault, something like that. An in-house solution is offer incentives. Popular strategies include share contests, tag giveaways, and shout out campaigns. This is not old. People have been doing this for a very, very long time, but that's because it works. It really is a tried and trusted method. What does that kind of look like? Well, if you can partner with a few other small businesses, or if you don't need to, like if you are able to do this entirely on your own, then that's great too. But create some kind of giveaway, create some kind of offer of sorts, like something like a gift basket, a coupon book, a special a gift certificate or something like that, and encourage people to want. Basically, it has to be something that they're going to want. So you already know that they're going to want this thing. Put it out there, and then ask them to kind of do that heavy lifting for you. So if you want this gift basket, you need to tag us in your next social media post, or you need to tell us about why it's so great for you, and you need to tag 3 friends. The more that people do that, the more that your content is going to be shared and populated around social media. So that's a great way to do it. I understand that's not feasible. Like, you can't be doing giveaways every single week or anything like that, but plan it out strategically, right? Maybe you can do 4 a year, seasonal ones, or maybe it's only a holiday one. There are ways around it that won't affect your business negatively in terms of like the bottom line. And then the third party solution is spy on your competition. What are other accounts in your industry doing, and how are people responding? If you are on social media, you should be connected with your competitors, both locally, nationally, and globally, right? Check out what the big brands are doing, what the other little brands are doing, and figure out how people are interacting with that. Maybe there's, if you're this skincare company or whatnot, maybe there's another skincare company just down the road from you, and they're knocking it out of the park with their engagement. Every single post that they make is just a slam dunk, and they can't keep up with the business that they're generating from social media. I can understand that would be a bit of a blow to the ego, or you'd be wondering, like, well, what's wrong with me? What do I need to do to create that for myself? There's nothing wrong with following them and checking out exactly what they're doing, right? There's no kind of monopoly on great social media strategies. So just beg, borrow, and steal, I guess.
Just to add to that too. So I find I often use the rule of thumb of like 80% posting about your brand story and engaging content, and 20% sales messages is kind of what we often tell people. And then because I was thinking about, if you're at a party, like we always say, social media is to be social, like, so be social. And if you thought about, if you went to a party and just bombarded everyone with, your business card or like a flyer, and just went around pitching everyone on, buying whatever you're selling, you're definitely not going to be the most popular person at that party. Quite the contrary. And then Brooke has a question as well. She says, it seems people often like or engage more with posts that include your own face. Yes, I would say that's probably true. But what if this is not your goal, just to share selfies? How do you get people to engage with your posts when you aren't seeing many likes, comments, shares, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the issue that a lot of people run into. What I would say is, if it happens every once in a while, you take it as a learning experience, and don't get too bent out of shape about it. Like, not everything is necessarily going to be a viral sensation. If it's happening all the time, like if you're finding that your content is just not being engaged with and whatnot, then maybe take a look at who is following you. If your followership is not necessarily built of people who love your brand, or people who are your loyal customers, then perhaps there's just an issue with what your account is, or who your account is kind of targeting there. So for example, a lot of times when people just start up their accounts, they'll kind of follow like friends and family, and just kind of like anyone local that they're aware of, who they see on this platform, and they just kind of go like, I'll invite them to like my page, or I'll start following them, and they'll follow me and everything. And that's great, but unfortunately they're not the right profile for who you need to be following you. So I'd investigate using things like with Instagram in particular, hashtags. Search for hashtags that are relevant to your business. Find people who are following those hashtags or following brands similar to yours, those lookalikes kind of thing, and try mining for those audiences instead, because there could just be kind of an issue with the messaging not reaching the correct people. And then if that's not it, like if you take a look at your follower list and it is full of people who buy from you, or people that that you know are interested in what you're there to do, which is promote your business, then perhaps yeah, there needs to be a bit of an adjustment made in that messaging still. So how can you create more leading questions? How can you encourage people to tag more people, or encourage people to comment on your posts and everything? A post that I did for an account that I manage that has seen a dip in engagement, I won't explain what their business is because that's proprietary and everything. But suffice to say, I made a post of a couple of taps, like literal like water taps and stuff, and they were very nice looking taps. And I said, double tap if you like these double taps. And that's kind of a cheat, but hey, like at least that's a very clear message there of like, hey, you know, if you're liking what you're seeing, maybe just give us a like here. It doesn't cost you anything. It only takes a second. And I did see a boost in engagement with that post because it was upfront. Again, the call to action was very clear, but it was done in a creative way. It wasn't like this poster, we're going to find you. It was, hey, if you like these taps, give us a double tap. So, yeah.
I would say too, you know, when it comes to posting photos of yourself, I would say typically like you want to use that, you want to leverage that to tell your brand story, you know, like what Rochelle was talking about earlier, about just really putting your whole brand into your content. You know, it doesn't have to be just your face. It shouldn't just be your face. It should be, you know, telling more of a story. So if we know that people engage with posts that feature you or just people in general, showing people at work, you know, doing what it is that you do at your company, you know, maybe it's like making products or, you know, working in the kitchen or something, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, you know, by taking photos of that process, including people, it's a great way to leverage that, but also tell your brand story. And that can really help kind of drive engagement. And I would say too, what Rochelle was mentioning about hiring a photographer, you know, that's a really great way to kind of build up a bank of content, of really great photos. And, you know, most photographers, they're going to want to feature people because it's, you know, it's just a better all around subject. It helps tell that story. And it'll be much better for your content and probably your engagement too.
Another good thing too is you really want to know your personas, so who your audience is. If you don't know who it is you're trying to sell to or engage with, then it's really hard to know what kind of posts you want to make and even what kind of platforms you want to use.
Here we have a few more questions. Why don't we let's come back to these ones.
Probably, yes.
After, yeah, we'll get through here. So moving along.
Alrighty, so popular tools for social listening. Okay. Alrighty, so what I will say before I get into all these tools and everything is this is quite the rabbit hole, and social listening has become a science in and of itself. So what I would recommend before you even attempt to get involved with these particular tools that I have listed is use the social listening capabilities that are built into the platforms that you already have. Facebook in particular has great social listening analytics on the go. Basically, if you go into the back of your business manager, you will be able to see when people are on your page, when they are interacting with your posts, who they are. So are they your followers, or are they those lookalikes that I mentioned before, like people who maybe follow other brands like yours but aren't following you yet? Digest that information first, the stuff that you can gather organically. When you are ready to move on, like when you feel like, you know what, I've done that, I've gotten all, like I've gleaned all that I can from this free stuff, I need something more substantial, that's when you can look at these guys. So Awario is the most affordable tool on the market. It has great analytics reporting and sophisticated Boolean query capabilities. So what is a Boolean query? Well, essentially it's a great kind of if this then that search thing. So basically, if you want to find out, okay, the example that I'm going to give is you are a coffee shop. Those are the given circumstances right now. If you are a coffee shop and you are using Awario and you want to know how many people are interested in particular kinds of coffee drinks because you want to know what the next featured drink should be for your particular coffee shop, then you can use these Boolean queries to search for people who are interacting with posts posts and content to do with things like lattes over drip coffee, over macchiatos, over espresso and everything. So it's a really sophisticated way to kind of drill down on exactly the kind of information that you want to absorb so that you can make better business decisions based on that. Because if you start researching that and you're deciding between, you know, your next featured drink being espresso based versus a flavored latte or something, then those Boolean queries can help you make that decision. Go, well, you know, it's 2-to-1. People care more about espresso than lattes right now. So my next featured drink is going to be espresso based or an espresso. Everything is espresso based. Anyway, all right. Agorapulse, it's a 2-in-1 social listening and content management tool. It's great if you want to keep all your social media information in one place. I do sort of recommend this one only because personally, I hate having to go to 100 different things to be able to manage my social media. The more that I can combine stuff and just kind of make it a one-stop shop, the better for me. And then Brandwatch is kind of like the big player in this game. So it's very hefty. It's a hefty program which provides detailed insights into your audience and what they are doing with your pages and your content. It includes gender, age, location, and occupation/interest demographic data, but there's more to it than that. So anyway, those are a few tools to check out once you have exhausted everything that you can organically through your own channels analytics. Alrighty, so we've come to the end of the presentation, and I am featuring what I feel is one of the best digital marketing campaigns that is out there right now, because it really has locked down the consistency, the creativity, and the communication that we've been talking about this whole time. So you may have seen this commercial on the go. It's playing on YouTube a lot, but if you haven't, then you're welcome.
So hopefully I shared my computer audio. Let's try this and see. Hopefully we hear it. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you hear it, or a thumbs down if you don't.
Thumbs down. I do not hear it.
Right, you don't hear it? One more time. Here we go. From the top.
Ship my pants? Right here? Ship my pants, you're kidding.
You can ship your pants right here.
You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Wow,
I just may ship my pants.
Yeah, ship your pants. Billy, you can ship your pants too.
I can't wait to ship my pants, Dad.
I just shipped my pants, and it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
I just shipped my drawers.
I just shipped my nightie.
I just shipped my bed.
If you can't find what you're looking for in store, we'll find it at kmart.com right now and ship it to you for free.
Cool. And then it just repeats.
Ship my
which is kinda
pants.
weird, but
Right here.
Right.
so on that note,
Classic.
yes.
Classic. Oops. Great. So we do have a couple of other questions as well. Lori says, she runs an online shop for artists. So selling selling art on her website. And she typically runs arts events. Her following is a lot of artists. Now she needs to engage more art consumers. Where and how can she build her audience in that arena?
One thing that I could recommend is if you have artists who, if currently your followership is largely made of fellow artists, take a look through their follower lists and figure out who is following them. Then you can kind of get connected with those people. Of course, you want to make sure that you're not just continuing to build that artist followership. So you do want to be kind of strategic in terms of who on that list you are targeting and everything. It could be worth, is there a way that maybe you can leverage those artists that are following you? If you have something that you can ask them to post on their channels, like something like, hey, we're being featured by, we are connected with this particular account that's dedicated to art curation or like art purchasing. I'm losing my words here, but in any way, then you can sort of empower those artists a little bit to maybe tap into their networks on your behalf. And then another thing that could be worth doing is there a way to perhaps create a virtual event? Because if you're not having kind of those pop-ups or those galleries, whatever it is that you were doing, there are great ways to translate that into an online capacity. So something like creating a Facebook event where you list the art that's available online, like basically just scan photos of it and whatnot and kind of advertise it that way, like do more of a virtual auction kind of thing. That could be a way to find those people. That's my advice. What do you guys think?
Another thing too is that you can have like a certain day of the week or a month where you actually highlight one of those artists that you are featuring, get to know the artist. Really gives a cool way for people to get that personal behind story of the different artists that you are dealing with, are working with, and kind of their story. Same if you're selling like clothing or anything like that as well. If you can feature, where that's coming from and their story, it can translate better to your viewers and your audience and get more personal with them as well.
Yeah, and I would say too, like you want to, I think Rochelle or you kind of maybe touched on it, but sharing, if you reach out to the artists that either you're featuring in that post or even just in general, to get them to share it because it's in their best interest, to share that, to generate more traffic to your online store. If they have work available there, that kind of thing, then it can be very motivating to get them to share it, but then also to see the results of that, because it really helps to get that post in front of more people. The more it's shared, there may be more comments happening once it's actually landing in people's feeds. Specifically, I'm talking about Facebook with that, but you could say the same for Instagram as well, potentially too.
That making sure content's shareable is also something. It's not something anyone really thinks of when they're posting, but you really want to make sure what you're posting can be shared with your viewers and audience.
Yeah, sweet. And then Brooke also asks, if you're looking to create quality content and willing to invest, is there a camera you would recommend, or would you suggest sticking with the iPhone?
Well, we have a great previous webinar that's dedicated to just this, which is all about creating great imagery with just your phone. Phones these days really are quite sophisticated. I mean, you know, if that's what's easiest for you as a business owner, and if you're most comfortable working with that, I would say stick to your phone for sure. If you are interested in getting a camera anyway, like if that's already been kind of on your wish list, or you are planning to take that next step, I know that you know, most DSLRs these days are pretty fantastic. Like, even low end ones are pretty good. Like mine's a fairly low end Nikon, but I love it. It does what I need it to do. Yeah, I mean, Ben is definitely the camera nerd of the three of us here. But anyway, I would say, yeah, stick with your phone as long as you can. You might find that it gives you, yes, you might find that it gives you more than what is necessary.
Yeah, being a camera person myself, I'm probably the first one to tell clients and people that, you know, your phone can do so much. Like, if anything, you know, I would invest in, like, if you're doing video, invest in a good microphone that you can plug into your phone, maybe some lighting, you know, just a few accessories to make it that much better, because it can shoot perfectly fine photos, and they're getting way better, you know, every day, every year. Every new model that comes out has incredible features. So yeah, there's usually not much point in going that extra step for a new camera. Cool. I think that's it. There's no more questions there. Everything's covered in the chat. And it's 11 o'clock on the dot. So thank you again to our panelists, to Rochelle and Maggie, for joining us. And thanks to everyone. I hope we answered all your questions. I hope you found this helpful. You can always reach out to your digital service squad for a free consultation. If you're in the Simcoe South Georgian Bay area, I will point that out. Yeah, we're always here, happy to help. Don't forget to register for the next webinar coming up about Canva, which is a really great kind of segue, kind of you know, trajectory that we're on here, to just really help you improve your social media. So have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.